Next exercise is a really nice hip opener that I really like to do. So what I'm going to have you do is get down onto the ground, and I'm going to have you go into a plank position. So you're just going to walk your hands out, kind of bring your toes up, and you're going to step one foot outside your hand. Okay, so you're right on the outside of your hand, and I want you to grab your foot. What you can do here is use your elbow to push your knee out to get a groin stretch and through here. And I want you to do little circles. So you are going to do clockwise, counterclockwise. If you are struggling, if you're shaking, if this is difficult for you, drop your back knee. Okay, just drop it straight down. And this is going to be focused a little bit more on the hip. If you can tolerate the plank position, it does require a little bit more strength. If it's bothering your wrist, feel free to go on to your fist here. So whatever is appropriate for you, you can modify this. All right, so if this is a good stretch, hang out here, okay, about 30 seconds. If you can get to a minute, great. Just little circles is what I want you to do, okay? A progression to this, if you're ready for the next step. If you can go up onto your knee or your foot, go up. If not, stay on your knee. Drop this elbow, drop the other elbow, drop straight down. Watch, my left knee is now fanning out. This is a deeper, deeper stretch. Again, circles, clockwise, counterclockwise. How does it feel? Drop that back knee if you need it. Come on back up again if this is too much. You can hang here with your hands down. So this is a couple variations. Everyone's kind of in a different spot, so I just want to show you some variations to this one. Okay, so from here, drop your back knee if you haven't yet. Rock back. We're going to bring this foot over into a pigeon stretch. Okay, so not everyone can do this one, all right? If your foot is down here like this, you have a very tight piriformis. We need to get it back. Foot at about a knee, about 90 degrees. Okay, so I want you more up here if you can, all right? If your butt is not all the way down, see there, I don't know if you can see, there's a space in through glute and the ground. We want you to be able to sit back if you can. If you cannot, put a yoga block underneath you. Let me grab one, I'll show you. Okay, so we have a yoga block here. As you get into that pigeon pose, put it underneath your butt. And see if we can get here, and now you're supported with the yoga block. So I don't feel like I'm holding myself up. So if you have a yoga block, something to put underneath your hip here, this is a nice modification for pigeon pose. So I'm gonna go back to pigeon pose if you're comfortable with it. Okay, so now that we're here, again, progression. Ready for the next step? Come on down. The water's warm. If you can tolerate being straight down, this can be a very intense stretch for some of you. So stick to where you feel comfortable, but I want you to walk your hands to your knee. Bring your chest, and I want you to hug and turn into your knee. You're going to hang out here 15, 20, 30 seconds, depends on what you can tolerate. Okay, this might be something you build up to. After you get to that time point, now we're going to hug your foot, right? So we're going to walk over, hug the foot. I like to place my forearm on the outside of my foot, kind of blocks it. And we're going to squat down this way. So we're doing internal and external rotation at the hip. So we are moving our chest to move the femur and the pelvis. So it's a little bit different way to get some hip mobility, open that hip up, come back to center, hang out in center again, if you can tolerate it. And then that's it for this hip mobility. We would do the other side. So you just go ahead and walk yourself back up, kind of sit to the side, bring the other leg around, and then I just kind of kick this leg back up, and now I'm already in this stance again. If you want to start the plank and bring the other foot up, whatever is easiest for you. Now we're going to do the other side. Same thing, little hip circles, 30 seconds, minute, if you can tolerate it. Some hips are not going to tolerate it, so just do your level. And then what you're going to do is drop your elbows. Good. Same thing, circles. Another 30 seconds. Clockwise, counterclockwise, keeping it moving. This is an active stretch for your hips. After 30 seconds, we're going to drop down into pigeon pose, bring that foot over, hang here if need be. If you can sit back into it, great. Need the block underneath your hip, put it there. Okay, so those are the modifications. And then we're going down to the elbows, right? So 30 seconds, hang in here, get that nice glute stretch, so nice, back in piriformis, so great, burn so good, hopefully. Okay, good. Walk your arms over to your knee, hug your knee. Couple big breaths here. Sink into it. Feel that stretch. Good. Walk your arms over to your foot. Does one feel tighter than the other? Usually the answer is yes. Okay, some of them both might be tight and be like, oh my gosh, I'm tight in everything. Good, do everything. But usually one side feels a little bit tighter than the other side. You can kind of sink into this a little bit more. Come back center. And then that's the end of the routine. So you're just gonna kind of side sit out of this, right? Now look at us in this 90-90 position. You can hang here if you want to, do a couple shifting over in this 90-90 position. But this is a really nice way to start opening up your hips and start getting hip mobility in, not just flexibility of the muscles. This does hit flexibility, but we're also hitting joint with these as well. So give these a try and just use those modifications that I mentioned in this video, depending on what or how much tightness and restriction that you have. These are things to ease into and just do them as they feel comfortable.